Veritas. SCP Files. Episode 68. Do Not Open.
You don't have to read that now. I was going to stop by the break room and make some coffee. I'd welcome the company.
Coffee? You need sleep. You look exhausted.
As do you.
Thanks. I'm serious, though.
So am I. Has Miranda been pushing you again?
No, actually. She's been quiet. I haven't heard from her much. Haven't seen her much. Ever since I got back on my feet, it's like everyone's just gone.
Most of us are tied up with our new guest. Those are the latest reports from it. Niall thought you might like to see what the rest of us have been dealing with. Might explain why the office has felt so empty.
And why you look like you haven't slept in days?
It's giving us a run for our money. I don't understand it. This creature. It's more than we were ever meant to handle. We're a small site, meant to house a few low-risk anomalies. Nothing long-term or aggressive. I don't know why they'd send us a 7566 instance. We really just don't have the infrastructure.
And they won't transfer it?
I've filed the paperwork twice. It just bounces back almost instantly. Someone wants this thing here. We've got people on it 24/7, constantly sedating it, watching through the glass walls from all sides and shocking it remotely every time it goes for the door. It's not right.
Well, consider me intrigued. I think I'll stay and read this. Get caught up with the rest of the site.
Suit yourself. I'm still getting that coffee. Won't last much longer without it.
Incident Report 7566-Unknown. One of an unknown number of incident reports involving SCP-7566, colloquially known as the Door Squid. Object Class: Euclid. Risk Assessment Level: High. Functionally uncontained. Reported by Dr. Lena Romano, Researcher. Report made April 16th, 2024. I lost another friend this week. Security's calling it her fault. And I guess technically it was. The policies are very clear, and they don't hesitate to remind you over and over, hammering it into you until the ritual is second nature. Always check the sightings map. Always report any planned movement through deprecated zones. Always pause before any door. Always listen. Always observe. But despite all the repetition and the reminders, it's also easy to forget when you've walked the same hallway every day for 6 months. You start to feel safe you start to skip steps. They moved again a few days ago. Not really sure when. They claimed another door. She didn't know. I remember her checking the map, but I doubt she really bothered to look beyond skimming. And now she's gone. They say it was fast, at least. That the autopsy showed the claw had speared her through the throat and she'd bled out quickly before they dismembered her to feed. You know, that makes 3 people in my department alone. All accidental, all avoidable, all their own faults. But the list keeps on growing. You come here knowing the risks on paper, but no one really tells you what it feels like to live in a facility where you can't trust the doors at the end of hallways, or the noises you hear in the corridors, where any moment of distraction can spell your end. They tell us not to get attached to anyone here. But that's a laugh. How can you not when working so closely together? How do they expect us to live like this if you can't even talk to and share it with the people around you? The constant stress, the constant vigilance, the constant gambling with your safety. The creatures, they're monstrous. They look like gigantic luminous squid, pale and alien. They use their immense strength to rip doors apart, pulling them from their hinges and then squeezing their bulbous bodies into the frame, reassembling the ruined door and carefully easing it back into place with their forelimbs. Or worse, they dig new recesses into nearby walls and pretend to be doors that were never there before. And the fakes are almost perfect. Almost perfect. Sometimes the seams are crooked. Sometimes the paint doesn't quite match. Sometimes you'll hear knocking or a voice. These squid can mimic human voices, pretending to be a friend, just waiting for you to let them in. If you're not very observant, very careful, if you're tired, or even just a little unlucky, one slice through the vocal cords with its tri-clawed prehensile tongue, and you're gone. Pulled behind the door and torn apart, even as it is reassembled behind you to trap the next unwitting victim. I can't count how many times I've stood frozen in a hallway, staring at a closed door that I couldn't quite recall being there, or hadn't remembered to look for on the map. Just listening, watching, hoping I don't see the handle twitch. Last week, I walked my usual route to my office. It's on the main floor, main hallway. I'd walked it 1,000,000 times. And the doors are kept locked open, so you know there's nothing amiss. This time, one of the maintenance doors on the side was shut, and I stood there for what felt like hours. And then the knocking started. Soft, slow, rhythmic. I didn't breathe, didn't blink. I just stared. And I swear I could see the whole door twitch in its frame. I could see the muscled forelimbs adjusting, holding it together, but quivering with anticipation as it waited for me to walk on by. And then the door opened, and a pair of guards walked through. Simple mechanical failure. Nothing amiss. I vomited in the nearest trash bin, and I couldn't eat for the rest of the day. The door squids aren't contained. There's no hallway they won't eventually claim. It's not their fault, necessarily. They're animals, just trying to survive, as are we. But when they're multiplying as rapidly as they are, and we are their main food source now that we have moved them here, do you see the problem? Since we grabbed them from their natural habitat in the Chesapeake Bay caves, we've replaced their ecosystem. We're directly responsible for forcing their predation upon us. And instead of sealing them off, letting them die without a discernible food source, we let them overrun the site. I don't understand why we haven't ordered a full-scale evacuation or eradication procedure. It's not like we don't have the manpower to cut through them. It's not like we don't have the funds. It's not like we don't have an ever-growing list of reasons to do so. There are thousands of them. The maps are flooded with markings. Every floor, every wing, even the bedrock is compromised. All this growth, it can't all be from us. Even with hundreds dead, it's not enough. Not for that many predators. So, what's feeding them? What's keeping them alive? It just doesn't make sense. The numbers don't add up. Unless someone's helping them. Unless they're part of a plan on high. There's a rumor going around that they're transferring one of the young ones, one that hasn't grown big enough to claim its own territory yet, its own door. They're sending it to a smaller site for testing in a safe and isolated environment. I hope they understand what they're doing. Because I sure don't. All I understand is fear. I hope they know what they're doing too. If that thing gets loose around here, no wonder Niall warned me about doors. I'm seeing a few new reports on this creature's page in the database. Seems like they've started observation protocols here at Site 2024. Let's see. It's still young, but it's growing very rapidly. It's apparently nearly doubled in mass since arrival a few weeks ago. The reinforced containment room has been sealed with treated glass and reinforced alloy panels, and is fully transparent on all sides. 6 guards monitor it constantly from every angle, rotating shifts frequently to prevent fatigue and due to their inexperience managing anomalies of this caliber. The creature has made multiple attempts to replace the containment cell's door. It has been observed gripping the outer frame with its forelimbs, testing for weaknesses. The door is reinforced steel, heavy and durable, but the reports are unsure of how strong it is projected to grow. It may only be a matter of time. So far, the best deterrents they have found are heavy sedation and administering shocks when it approaches the door. They're not calling it containment in these reports. They're calling it management. There are no further orders in place, except to continue as is.
Vault Veritas SCP Files is a podcast inspired by the SCP Foundation. Do Not Open is based on SCP-7566 by placeholder McD, Harry Blank, and Gabriel Kiro from the SCP Wiki located at scpwiki.com/SCP-7566. It is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike 3.0 unported license. This episode featured Justin Gellner as Scott Anderson and Cody W. as Meriwether Parker. It was written and edited by Leola Angel. We welcome comments. Please rate and review us. Email us at vaultveritas@gmail.com. Join our Discord channel using the link in the episode description. Or for additional content, visit our Patreon. Thanks for listening.